Let me go on your YouTube channel, because I normally send out the link.
Don't know. What's going on, people? Back again. We're waiting for flipping Matisse in it, so we're just gonna add him in when he comes, bruv, because man's late, bruv. And you man just getting onto the man them in the comment section every time, blood. We saying DG, fam. We saying.
I'm there, Rants, man. I'm there, man. Thanks for having me as usual, man. I'm here. Obviously, we'll get into it, but we're on the eve of the North London derby. Every other thought in my brain is to do with that today, really and truly, man. Other than
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, bruv. I feel like North London derby coming up. This is the best time to play Tottenham if you're anyone other than Arsenal, blood. You know them as anyone other than Arsenal would be confident, blood, going into this Tottenham game, bruv. These men are capitulating, and they're doing it in public as well. It's not like there's a breakdown in the dressing room. These men are beefing on the pitch, blood. Something is not right there. It's only the first season. Now, I mean, and the way your form has been and the way their form has been, it should be a foregone conclusion. But we all know in derbies, form always goes out the window, fam.
That form goes out, like you said, form goes out the window on the best of days in derbies. I mean, you as a United fan, even, you know, your form is good now, but I'm pretty sure your form was a bit woeful, but there's been a consistency in the top 6 clashes or the big game sort of thing. So form doesn't mean anything. It's silly. Football's just a game of who wants it more. But for me as an Arsenal fan, I'm confident, but I'm not confident. I mean, you can't not have a bit more confidence seeing where Spurs are going, even in their win against Everton. They're relying on own goals. You're seeing a team that might probably get relegated in Bournemouth, not allowing them a shot on target. You know, I think the only game I've really seen them play well, I think credit by credit's due. I think they did all right in their defeat against you lot. I think they were okay in the second half against West Ham. They've been a bit woeful, like you said. Bust up, whether it's legit or not, bust ups on the pitch. You know, question marks over the manager, men in possession. Nobody knows what they're doing. Arsenal, we're not great by any stretch of the imagination. You know, we dropped points against Leicester, but by our own standards, we've been a class above them in terms of form. So naturally, there's a bit of I don't want to say confidence, but a bit of healthy confidence. But at the same time, my guy, I look at it, I'm like, you can't underestimate a team with Harry Kane. 9 times out of 10, I've seen teams worse than Spurs, like Brighton. Brighton couldn't string a win together this year, and then they played us. They turned into Barcelona. That's what happens more time against Arsenal. So I'm not any team with Kane and with his record against us, any derby, and obviously with all the other things, I can't underestimate Spurs. I hope we win, but it's a thing where Arsenal engineered their own problems. Because for me, I think one thing that might help the teams is there's no Spurs fans and there's no Arsenal fans, so there's none of that energy you need in derbies. I want us to start strong, and we have been starting strong, but it's how we finish them last 15 minutes. And like we've shown against Chelsea under Arteta's reign, and you know, you look at our amount of draws, the amount of points we've dropped. It's about how we need to finish in the same 15 if we are winning. Then the same way we started well in the first 15. So it's about the fine margins, as you know, my guy. For me, man.
So what do you think? There not being a crowd and that atmosphere, it could just more be down to 11 versus 11, who's better on the day, as opposed to all the atmosphere and all the other stuff that goes with it? Because if you're just going on sheer ability and form, surely it has to be in Arsenal's favour.
Like if it's just on form, of course, you know, form don't win games, but of course form is just there. But like you said, man, brilliant point. Yeah, I think the fans, because as an Arsenal fan, away games are our problem. Like it's the 12th man. Like I look at Sheffield away last year, in the league, and we kind of struggled. So it's almost home and away. It's irrelevant now. There's no fans. Like unless the players are sitting there and going, hold on, the seats are red. Like it doesn't. It literally don't matter in it. So that's a benefit to Arsenal, because it's like I think we either feed off the energy positively or we struggle with the 12th man when other people are there. So that could help us, because it's irrelevant now. You've just got to focus on the football game, what your manager's been telling you to do. So I definitely feel for Arsenal fans' advantage, Spurs not having the 12th man and, you know, the Harry Kane chance and the rest of it, it should help us. And it's one less excuse for us if we don't get a result.
Yeah, it's true, blood. And you know, the mad thing is with the Tottenham thing as well. Like Jose is the master of deflections, bro. Like when they fell out on the pitch, my man was saying, yo, it's beautiful, I love it, accountability, all this crap. But bruv, there's no way in the hell as a manager of a football team, yeah, that you can look at your players beefing on the pitch, yeah, at half time. The game's not even done.
Not even doing it in the tunnel.
You're not even doing it in the tunnel. You're doing it on the pitch. So, bruv, the game's not over. That means already you're mentally in a place where you're not cool, bro, and there's still another half of football to play. It's not like this happened after the game. If you can't control your emotions in the game, you're in trouble, bro. You know them ones. Like, forget what
mm.
happens after the match, because these things happen after the game. People have bust-ups, whatever. There's 45 minutes to go and you man's heads have already gone. Do you know what I mean? That's got to be worrying, bro. Regardless of what Jose's saying how, yeah, like accountability, as he said, and how it shows that they care and all that. Bro, something's not right in that dressing room at all, bro. And Jose's not the guy to fix rifts, bro. You know what I mean? He's the guy that comes in, he destroys the morale, blood. He doesn't fix it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can't see Tottenham doing any better, bro. I think this is probably the first time in a while that the pressure is actually on you, man, to actually turn them over. Because for a while under Poch, it was kind of like, well, Tottenham are doing all right. Harry Kane like scoring against us, etc., etc., etc. We've got new managers. You lot have been through what, 3 managers. Do you know what I'm saying? So all of them excuses aren't there no more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Tottenham don't have the stability they had. They don't have the run of form. It looks like things are upside down. If you were the gaffer, like, what would you be telling the players?
Well, if I was Jose?
No, if you were the Arsenal manager, what would you be saying?
Well, firstly, what scares me, and you made a point, it's like, for all Jose's critics, yeah, one thing I'll give him is he, maybe not so much now, but siege mentality. If I'm Spurs, I'm sitting there and saying, I'm not being funny, but our season has been shit. We're playing Arsenal. We're not losing to them. You've seen Brighton be in poor form and turn it over. You lot are fighting for your futures. This is the sort of game where everyone can, like you said, with the bus up, everyone can collectively come together. If I'm Arteta now, I'm saying it's irrelevant. You know, I'm saying it's irrelevant them fighting. It's irrelevant. They're valid points, but it's irrelevant, because the minute you start to, you know, think you have an advantage because they have bust stops, we're at issue as well, because our game management isn't perfect. We've had our own bust stops. You hear all the stuff with Guendouzi and all of these things. So I say, what the one thing we need to do, again, it's like what I said, start early, get in behind that defense, ask questions. Look, like Loris is very vocal. The minute he feels Son isn't pressing again or defenders are not covering, you're getting uncertainty within that defense. You're asking questions. So for me, it's about being brave, being on the front foot. You know, Aubameyang, are they going to play Aurier? I'm not too sure in his fitness, but Aurier against Aubameyang, ask questions, make Aurier get angry at his fullback, his right winger, for not tracking back, make Loris get angry at his fullback, and so on. We need to create discontent, and that's only going to happen if every Arsenal player stands up to be counted. And for me, every Arsenal player has to be fearful of letting their fellow teammate down. Centre halves have to be shook of letting down the fullbacks. Fullbacks, don't lose your men, and so on and so forth. And if I'm Arteta, that's it. It's like these are grown men. Like, some of them have played games at the highest level. This ain't like if it was a Saka thing and Joe, you might have to tell them things. But this is where I said in the last stream, where players should be able to figure things out. It's a North London derby, you know. In the grand scheme of things, we're not deciding anything. It's 8th versus 9th. Both teams are very shit at the moment. It comes down to desire. It comes down to who wants it. These are the games where you have to, like you said, control your emotions. And that's exactly, if I'm Arteta, what I'm telling them. I don't think it's a game. Obviously, tactics are relevant, but it's not a game to focus on the tactical outlook of things.
Absolutely, bro. Man, like Matisse is in the building, fam. What you been saying, bro?
You saying, man?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I can't wait to go back to London. You know, this Irish Wi-Fi is a mess.
Man's in Ireland. But what are you saying? North London derby's coming up. Jose's doing what Jose does, bro. Obviously, we've had him as our manager. We're not surprised, innit? We warned everyone. I said there's a reason why, yeah? Jose's Chelsea's most successful manager in the history, and the majority of the fan base don't like this guy. You have to understand, yeah, that a guy that's done so much for your club, for the fans not to like him, there has to be something in it, bro.
Yeah,
there has to be.
I would make Arsenal favourites for that game, for the sheer fact that I think just as a team, even though they obviously need to improve defensively, I just feel like as a team they just have a lot more going forward. They're just a lot more dangerous, a lot more attacking. Mourinho's just, the thing is with Mourinho is that if you get him for a short-term success, it can be good. But look, this guy, in terms of like long-term, he does seem to like mess up clubs, destroy them, set them back. And look, he's not even had the.
1 second. What happened there?
What happened?
Man,
there?
that strong.
They heard him talking crud.
That strong doubling Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He'll be back. But that's the thing with Jose. Yeah, he's a short-term manager, and the thing is, he builds a lot of the teams in his own image, innit? And his image is not pretty, bro. Like, the football he wants to play, the attitude he wants to instill, it's not sustainable. And that's what I say about Jose Mourinho and also Pep Guardiola to a certain degree, bro. The reason why they're 3 to 4 season managers is because the way they rule the ship here, it's not for everyone. You saw that with Yaya Toure, with Pep Guardiola. There's bare players that hate Pep Guardiola because if he loves you, innit? If he doesn't like you, he's horrible to be around.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's what Mourinho's like. Their man management actually is not their strongest point, bro. It's not. And the thing is, when you're winning, that's okay.
It's great, innit? It's great.
That's it. As soon as you're not winning no more, man, them are looking at each other in the changing room like, blood, is he talking to me, fam? You know, no.
This guy's making me mad in that. Yeah.
This is how it gets, blood. That's how it gets.
And that's the thing, man. Like the modern day kind of left Jose, and I say that respectfully because Jose, as a man and what he's given to football, I can't not have admiration for what he's given to the game. He might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's done it his way. The problem I feel with him, in the same way we spoke about how the modern days left the Ozils and the James Rodriguez in the way they play, it's left Mourinho. It's like, it's not iron fish. You can't just bollock a man for no reason. Player power is one of the biggest things in football now. Like it's you have to be as good as you are with your with your players as you are obviously with the tactics. And I think that's left Jose. Like you said, if Jose rides for you, Like Lucas Moura, I don't think he'll ever struggle for game time too tough at Spurs because he seems to that's his guy in the same way William was his guy. But it goes against people. You look at Spurs, you know, they probably need someone who's gonna bring young players through, carry young players away, be able to work with maybe not getting their first or second choice targets, going for the third or fourth. Jose doesn't scream that, and I have respect for Jose, but he doesn't scream longevity. I mean, you would have thought at worst they might not have played good football, but they'd be fairly sustainable, clean sheets, put winning runs and stuff together. And I think at times they have done that under Jose, but he's kind of falling off quicker than most people. And if he, a year from now, this might look dumb, but he's kind of falling off quicker than most people thought. Like the player backups, I mean, and like we spoke about off air, it's like he didn't win the Pogba one, so he thought, let me just draw out a next man. You know, there's things going wrong. The only thing I think he's doing right, really, is actually not playing Dele Alli, because that's the one thing in terms of form. I don't think Dele Alli deserves to be there. Their team, he's not the guy that's going to play. I don't think Pochettino played expansive football, but he kind of put in a scenario where they would kind of go towards that. With Jose, you know, it's predictable. The midfielder is playing it sideways. Nobody really knows what to do. I don't know if they're working on transitional play and things, or if they're doing anything beyond structural training where you are on a football field and that's it. There's a million problems, man. And with, you know, Jose, he ain't going to sign for no little boy peas. You know, that's probably serious compensation if he does want to get clipped. Probably still have to pay Poch. You know, they've got their stadium, so they've kind of fucked it to a degree if it goes wrong. So they have to ride with him for like a year or so from now, man. See what happens.
Yeah, Matisse, as you were saying about Jose, fam.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Chelsea fans speaking his truth about the London derby. They're like, nah, get this guy off the stage. He's talking too much. Just for Jose Mourinho, as was being said, I just feel like he's usually had like such a bump at the beginning. Like if this is him at the beginning, there really is no hope. He usually has such a good start. Even at Chelsea, in the second season round, he didn't win the league in the first season, but we still were really like strong in terms of how weak our squad was. We came third, got to semi-finals of the Champions League with such quite a weak team. You know, I think we had like a decline in Eto'o, Torres, and Demba Ba up front, and we still managed to do quite well. Whereas he just looks a shadow of himself now. Even in the press conferences, I don't know if this has been mentioned, but he's not the same Jose in the press conferences. He used to be really entertaining, quite lively, charismatic. Now he's getting up and leaving. This guy can't even wait for the Wi-Fi to improve. He's like, no, I'm gone. It's just, you know, talk about Wi-Fi. I'm patient, but this guy is just not on it, fam. He's gone. So I don't know, man. This guy, he's completely different gravy to what he used to be. It's actually such a sad decline. I'm glad we got him in the best of times, because I couldn't deal with him now.
You know what it is with football, yeah? Football goes through different eras, innit? And I think that Jose came into the game at the end of a certain era and at the beginning of a different one. So when he came in, everything was set up perfectly for this guy, bro. Like, he done a great job at Porto, but then he came into Chelsea, a Chelsea team that was on the cusp of doing something anyway. Anyone that understands Chelsea Football Club understands where Ranieri was taking these men. Like, Chelsea were already on the ascendancy when Mourinho comes in. There's a misconception that Chelsea weren't doing nothing before Jose came in, bro. Chelsea were making the right moves anyway. They were playing the right football. A lot of the football that Chelsea played was down to Claudio Ranieri signings and down to how he had them playing. It had nothing to do with It had absolutely nothing to do with Jose, bro, because the thing is, obviously Jose made the tweaks, but if you give it to him his own way, your team will not play expansive attacking football. They just won't. So when people talk about the amount of goals that is Real Madrid's team scored, yeah, it's all right to score 100 goals when you've got Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 60. You know, like that. Like, it's, you know, like that. Like, bro, man don't use logic. Yeah. Man don't use logic, yeah, when they're talking about Jose. Like, Jose, yeah, if he doesn't have one man banging bare goals in, this brother is in trouble. I don't care. That Chelsea team, Duff, Robin, what you think that had anything to do with Jose? Like, you seen what he does to his wingers? He has them man defending. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So,
he put some of his most talented wingers at wing back. I can't remember who it was for Man United, but I just remember I think Martial and Rashford. He kind of like,
bro, them man were defensive. Them man didn't play them. Bro, Jose said that man, I don't play Martial on the wing because he doesn't like going the other way, bro. He's a striker. Why should he like going the other way?
Yeah. Even at Chelsea, you know, the likes of Mohamed Salah. I spoke about this last time. De Bruyne, you know, he didn't really use them mainly because he liked Andre Schürrle. I don't know where he's at now.
He did like Schürrle. He liked what's his name as well? The other black guy with the dreads. What's his name?
As well. Who's the other guy?
You sold the Colombian bro, Cuadrado. You bought him.
Cuadrado, and it was all because it was all about going the other way, as you said. Way, and Chelsea fans are kind of been like hypnotized by that because even to this day we speak about going the other way, and I'm like, how about we just go forward? I know it's a crazy concept, but how about we just score goals? Wingers attacking, you know, it's a crazy concept, but we can win games if they actually start to score goals. And this is what I always say about Willian. Talk about going the other way. That's always been a big thing with him. That's the reason why he has been so. You know, that's been the other side of the debate. Luckily, he's obviously started to step up with goals now, but that's always been what I've wanted. So, yeah, going the other way is great, and I think it's useful if you're trying to be a defensive team. But if you're trying to play expansive in any way, I think the first and foremost you need to be attacking.
The problem with Jose is that you look at it's about transitions. His system is quite rigid. It's like strikers, you focus on striking, midfield, you focus on midfield, defense, you focus on defense, which in principle, that's logical. I'm sure no one here disagrees with that. That has to be a thing fundamentally. But some way they put it interlinked. You know, strikers have to defend from the front. Defenders need to be almost the first attackers in the modern game. And I don't think Jose will ever reinvent himself purely because he doesn't. I mean, no disrespect to Jose, but you know, he wasn't as fallen off as he was when he took over at United or when he went back to Chelsea or now at Spurs. But what has he got to rely on really? It's been the Jose proven winner. Now, I'll be respectful to him. At the end of the day, he went to United not winning a trophy at United, and he left winning several, winning a decent amount, to be nice. But it's just the transition of the modern game. You need to be a trainer, coach. Pouring money isn't going to fix things. And even then, Jose, the worst thing people say is, you know what, throw him his checkbook, he'll make things happen in it, regardless of what you say. You look at his signings of recent years, have they really been a madness? And I know some of the signings that didn't happen at United, I was happy. He wanted to rub out Martial and bring in Arnautovic. He wanted to bring in hella Z-list guys, and it would have been elite if he got his way at United. Pogba would have been out. He probably would have paid McTominay, Matic, and brought in Lee Cattermole or something, man. It would have been that's the one thing I give him. He tried to ruin the right clubs. Hopefully he keeps ruining Spurs, but yeah, man, Jose, the modern game, he just hasn't reinvented himself, man. It's like Wenger. Wenger didn't reinvent himself in a different degree. The game, you need to adapt, and that's one thing I give Pep. He'll always reinvent himself.
And if you look at Jose, just a sec, man, you see Jose as well. One thing that Jose Mourinho does more than any other manager, yeah, bro, he always buys players that have already played for him, bro. That's what Harry Redknapp used to do, blood. Harry Redknapp used to go everywhere. I'm gonna sign you, Kubu, everywhere, blood. You know what I mean? Everywhere. And Defoe and that, bro. Jose signed flipping Carvalho at Chelsea, Porto, Chelsea, and Real Madrid, blood. He does that, like with the Matic thing. Like, I mean, he tried to bring him to Tottenham from Man United now, bro. Like, do you know what I'm saying, bro? He does it. Like, anywhere he goes, yeah, he has a rigid way. He just likes his players to think a certain way, play a certain way. Tried to sign Willian again for us, bro. He just always goes to what he knows, blood. That shows that he's not progressing as a manager. He doesn't understand that the game has changed. He's still going back to what brought him success at a different period to try and get success now, bro. Like, he's not here. He's not here. He's not present right now. And it's like, because he's so arrogant, he can't see past that. He'll always tell you what he's done. Yeah, three times. No one cares, bro. Like, no one cares right now.
Fully facts. No one gives a crap. I think it's a humbleness to know that I need to reinvent. Like, I think being at United kind of humbled him. He saw that, you know, on paper, it looked like the perfect marriage. You know, United have kind of fallen off, but they're sleeping giants. Jose's Jose. It's humbled him not seeing it. And I think at Spurs, he's still not humbled to the degree we need him. Is that he needs to understand this isn't a top team. This isn't a quick fix sort of thing. And I don't know. I think I said this when he went to United, but I genuinely believe that while his reputation won't die on how he is at Spurs, this is probably the hardest job of his life. Right? He ain't got the best team. He can't bring in the best individuals. I mean, apart from Kane, I mean, they've got good players, but Kane is the only one you'd argue is top, world class, one of these sort of things. No one else like that. He hasn't got that. And it's like, they're not going to, fair enough, they bought Ndombele for 60 odd mil. But they're not going to drop 60 on these players and be in a position where, okay, 60 didn't work for him. Let's get him out, bring a next man in. So it's the hardest job of his life. And I don't know how it gets. For me, I'm happy. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'll never cap. But I don't see how it's positive for Jose. I'd love to. Well, I wouldn't love to, but it's down to them to make me eat humble pie. But I can't see how it's positive for Spurs.
I think also as well is, do you know what's quite interesting is that when these big managers do go down, I mean, you take a look at the likes of Ancelotti, it's a completely different story at Everton. He's having a really good run. I'm not sure exactly where they are in the table now, but before lockdown, they was having a great run. And it just goes to show, you know, when these big managers take a step down to a club that you gotta, it's not easy. You're not straight at the top. You're not going to get unlimited funds. It's really interesting to see how they do. Of course, it's not like Mourinho never had a difficult job. He had Porto, but that was ancient. That was ages ago. Do you know what I mean? That was him in his prime, winning the Champions League with them. And this is kind of like the first time since then where it's like, yeah, you're in the thick of it. Even at United, I think he did bring in Sanchez and Ibrahimovic, and it's just like, man, come on now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just get a grip, man. Like, honest to God. These type of signings that you're talking about, your Williams, your Matisses, it screams short term. It just screams it. And that as a fan, when you know that even the ideology and the thinking behind things are short term, it's very hard to get on board, because it's like, if you're short term, you need to win right now, like this season or next. If you're not winning in the next season or two, then you're really just wasting everybody's time, because these players are going to be absolutely useless in 3 years, 4 years. So that's he puts himself under that pressure when he thinks in that type of way. If you sign young players like Oli, like Lampard is trying to do, Arsenal even, you know, renew Saka and saying, listen, we're going to get Martinelli. You buy yourself time. It's as simple as that. Listen, these players, you make that. It's not even an excuse. It's just facts. You just say to yourself, and you say to the press, listen, these players are kids. They're not ready yet. So either on board with the long-term target, or what are you going to do? Sack me? Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you buy Willian, it's like, well, in 3-4 years, his brother's going to be retired, so you win in the league or not? Do you know?
And I think the thing about looking at Arteta and Jose, like, obviously Arteta hasn't won a thing. We don't know how good he's going to be. I am by no means gassing up Arteta's thing, but it's like Arteta's got a lot to work on. Arsenal have a lot to work on, but I see something. At least I see a philosophy. I see an ideology. I see something slightly to buy into. Gaming, obviously, I can't watch Spurs game in, game out as much as I am at Arsenal, but I just don't. I try and put on the Spurs cap, and I'm like, what is there to get behind on the Jose? Beyond the fact of I want to support my manager who's just been here, and I want to be a bit of being on the other side. There's not really anything to be convinced about. I think the only good thing I can see is that he's realized, Dele Alli's not that important to Spurs. If he's playing well, he'll play, but we can rub him out the team. It's just, you don't see anything to get behind with Jose. Like he said, he's not putting his hat on 4 or 5 young players and saying, we're going to bring you through. I know he brought through Tanganga. He's not restoring faith to players that you thought were past it, you know. Like, I don't know, all their squad players, similar to how I think Mustafi is rubbish, but I can't say a bad thing about him right now. You're not really seeing anything. The only thing you're clinging on to is that he's just come into the role, and you're hoping, you know, Jose Mourinho is going to be the Jose that was poking eyes out in the El Clasico and knee slides and calling Wenger a specialist in failure. It's not that Wenger. I mean, it's not that Jose anymore right now. The game has left him until he realizes and has the humbleness to say, you know what, I've got to go back to the drawing board, talk to my coaches and see what I'm doing right and wrong. Spurs aren't going to do a damn thing. Like, is that real?
Yeah, bro. I feel like he doesn't. I feel like a part of me feels like it's bravado now. A part of me feels like he knows that he doesn't have it anymore, bro. I think he knows deep down, innit? Because as you said, he's not bringing anyone back, bro. Like, there's nobody that was playing for Spurs before under the previous manager that wasn't playing well. Jose's come in and given him a new lease of life. This guy was known for his man management. He was known for having players that are willing to die for him on the pitch.
For him, bro.
I don't see that now.
Eto was saying he play out on the wing just for Jose and that. The Jose of this 10 years from ago, 10 years now ain't saying that. No one's saying that. It's a myth. Right?
True, it's true.
100%. I think
even just to go into an Arsenal standpoint as well, I just want to just quickly ask: are you confident? Because this is it's interesting now.
That word confident will get you in a lot of trouble. It's very confident leads to complacency. I'm confident as long as we start well. I mean, like I said to Rants before you came in, you know, form-wise, you can't not have a degree of confidence because of how we're doing and how we're going. Football isn't won on paper. And even as an Arsenal fan, I've seen mid-table, bottom-table teams not buy a win in the Premier League, bro. They come against us. And like, again, I told Rants, they turn into Barca 09. Their keeper turns into a prime De Gea. So I'm confident as long as we stick to a game plan, as long as we stand up to be counted, man. Any complacency needs to get rubbed out. And that's why I'm scared of Spurs, because if I'm Spurs and if I was in that dressing room, I'd say, you know what, we're in bad form. I'm not being funny. So North London derby, form goes out the window. Arsenal, there's few better teams to play when you're in a bad run of form than my club, sadly. How many teams have you seen they can't buy a win, they'll play Arsenal and then they go on a bit of a trajectory, or they'll beat Arsenal and then go back to being shit the week after? So it's a techie one, man. I wouldn't say confident, but I'm feeling about it. Someone's asking me.
Yeah, that's your question, bro.
Deluded, do you think back three at the back is the way we should go moving forward? I definitely would like us to be able to play it in some capacity, but I'm a 4 at the back, man. I think a lot of things Arteta's doing right now is because his hands are tied. I don't think if he gets signed, in certain personnel will play. And I don't think he wants to play 3 at the back. I just think he realizes we are rubbish defensively. So if I get a couple extra men in them positions, in theory, we should be a tiny bit better, which we have. But we're still letting ourselves down. In the same way we had 4 at the back against Chelsea at the Emirates and 3 away in the last 15, is the same way we drew against Leicester. You know, we had 3 at the back. We're defending well. But the hardest thing to do is keep your standards up when you're tired, as you lot know. We got tired now. Vardy knocking on the door, he exploited us. So I think 3 at the back is the thing until next season, because similar to United with Oli, there's no coincidence. He's not messing around with the lineup and they're getting results. This is the time of the season. You just got to ride players' form and ride the formations until it messes up. So I don't know about long-term, my dude, but for now I'm feeling it. I want to see 4 at the back and more man in midfield and them things there, man.
And also when you look at personnel, bro, like you've got a striker like Aubameyang that doesn't need many chances to score a goal. So you can play with a 3 at the back, which also suits David Luiz anyway because he's better in a 3. And then you look at Mustafi, is better in a 3, bro, because in a 2 he looks questionable. But them two together, it suits the personnel that you have. And also, even if you're going to create less chances by having 1 extra defender, you have a clinical centre forward. So it makes sense, bro, at the moment, for the personnel that you have, to focus on not conceding, because you know that you only need to create 1 chance most of the time for Aubameyang.
Yeah, I just wanted to say as a rival, I mean, I could have said it better. I mean, you take a look at that defense. You've got Saka, who can play left wing back, who I think is a brilliant player. I mean, he probably, I don't want to speak out of turn, but in terms of expectations, I never, like, obviously, you know your Aubameyang's going to play it well. You know your Pepe's going to start coming along, but Saka has been amazing this season. Honestly, he's really is a shout for me. Because, yeah, I as a rival, that's probably, if I could take any player out of your team, that's probably the player, you know, for long time.
No cap, Aubameyang as well. When you got Tammy up front, yeah. You can gas up Werner next year, but respect the thing, man. Like,
You know what is Timo time is coming, isn't it? So the thing is with Aubameyang is, as good as he is on the big stage, sometimes he lets himself down, you know.
Like 20 league goals, man, ladder, man. I'm not trying to hear that. But it just hit me. You see what you said about 3 at the back here? One reason I like it as well is because I don't think much of Kolasinac as a player, but logically, Kolasinac is left centre half, Tierney's left wing back, and you've got an Aubameyang who's going to have to drop back under Arteta, or you put Saka there, then that's almost 3 man defensively kind of locking down that left-sided area. And I look at it, that's Bergwijn or Moura. That's Son is another debate, and Bellerin or whoever needs to be switched on. But I just think it gives us a bit more. And I think if anyone that's watched Arsenal, you know we're very left-hand centric. And I think when you look at it, whatever you say about Kolasinac, and I know he's a centre-half, his best strengths are going that way. Same goes with Saka. Well, Saka's decent, but Saka going forward is quite good. And you've got Tierney. So it gives us a bit to link with Aubameyang. And it probably cripples Aurier from going forward. Like, we know Aurier is a fire hazard, but he might say to himself, you know what, there's Aubameyang, there's people on the double up, let me stay back. And then that cripples them. Because I don't think Ben Davies, he can go forward, but I don't think he wants to go forward with all his heart. So on the right hand side, it's a bit of an even one with Pepe, but I think the left hand side is the area we've got to exploit teams all season, and specifically against Spurs. That's the area we have to ask questions of, man. Really, that's where I will come from 9 times out of 10 more time, anyways.
Yeah, and just to finish up on your point is if you're not going to play Ozil, right, then breaking down teams may maybe not your thing to
how
time. I think if you try and focus on transitions, not necessarily counter-attacking football, but there's no harm in, you got 3 at the back, just drop deep a little bit, allow them in, bring them in, bait them in, and then you've got David who can put the ball over the top. You've got Xhaka, who's got good long-range passing. You got the pace of Pepe, who Pepe is the best on the counter, is probably the best Pepe you can get, because his dribbling is fantastic, 1v1 and whatnot. But I think going into space, if you go in behind into space, and you get him and Aubameyang and Saka turning and going in behind, you just have like that pace is just frightening. It reminds me of like a Salah Mane type beat. Do you know what I mean?
You redeemed yourself. I like the way you're talking.
Yeah. I see. I came back. You know, I saw your face drop. I was like, let me throw in some compliments real quick. Because when we talk about my team, I'm gonna need some help.
Yeah, this is it. There's a question for you right here, bro.
Man.
Okay. So Matisse, who do you think we should sign to improve our defensive unit? Oh Lord Jesus. A lot of men are saying we will win the league. Yeah, no. On the defense. Okay, so listen, I love the question. If we get this defense next season, then we're not winning no league. And that's just me being honest. I said this on another stream as well a couple of days ago, is that Chelsea can attack all they want, but they will be like the Liverpool of old under Rodgers, where they scored a lot of goals and they were entertaining Suarez, Sterling, Sturridge, banging them in. The defense always lets you down. There's no league champions that didn't fix their defense. I say Company, Van Dijk, Alisson, Terry, Carvalho, Man United, Vidic, Ferdinand, Leicester. They were solid defensively with Wes Morgan and Schmeichel. It's not your flashy names, but they were better than us. Every team I go through for champions, they have a good defense. They have a very good defense. So not with our defense, no. And in terms of who we should get, my dream would be Alaba from Bayern. I know it's FIFA stuff, but he is running out of contract, and he has said he's not signing. It's a similar thing to Thiago situation there, where he's being linked with Liverpool, just because I feel like those players have won it all in Germany and they're getting a little bit like, a new challenge could do me. I don't see us signing him, but that would be the dream, because that's a world-class left-footed centre-back, which we need. And then in terms of that, like I said, the centre-back pool is very slim. You know, Arsenal have a similar issue going into the market. Man United had to throw it all on Maguire, who has
United left-sided centre-half. If they were pushy, they got to look for that centre-half.
Yeah. You know, Man United, even though Maguire's improved them a lot, they had to throw a lot of money at it, because they was like, listen, there's actually nobody else out there, so we need to go and just get this guy because he looks good in league. In terms of targets for us that are realistic, you've got Declan Rice, Ake. Ake, I don't really believe is the solution, because his aerial duels are not great, and that's exactly our issue. Declan Rice is a good player, but he's not got the experience at centre back. He's got the potential, played centre back in the youth days, but he hasn't got the experience to say, listen, he's going to improve us right now. So I don't really see us improving defensively a whole lot. And that's also just to stick some honesty into it. It's Frank Lampard, his defensive coaching himself is not going to improve us. I don't think we are going to need special guys in for that, because that's definitely not his strength. He's a midfielder from old, and obviously, attacking and midfield is probably
like that as well.
Same with Jody as well. Same with Jody Morris. Yeah, the same. Pretty attacking football.
And they had the same issue at Derby. And also, I've said it before, and I don't want to go back over this too much because it's worrying times. But listen, the goalkeeper, listen, if he's still here next season, then you need to behave with your expectations, because it's just simply, when you've got a goalkeeper that's not not even average statistically in the league. Yo.
Falling off. Why is Kepa falling off so much though? Because I remember when he first came, the jury was out, but he weren't this dead. Like he weren't.
You know what? I do this with Chelsea fans all the time, right? And to be fair, under Sarri, we was better defensively. People will say we got slapped up by Bournemouth and Man City, and I'll say yes, we did. But that you take those 2 games away from home, that's 4-0 and 6-0. That's 10 goals shipped in. And without those 10 goals, where would we be? Because with those 10 goals, we had the third best defensive record in the league last year. And that's with those 2 capitulations. When people talk about those defeats, they say, "Oh, Chelsea, what are you talking about? We got hammered." Yeah, every team can have a capitulation. You know, Bayern Munich got slapped up by Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-finals. I'm talking about on the grand scheme of things, the whole season we had the 3rd best defensive record. So just defensively, we were just more organized. Set pieces were still a massive issue. We were still very low in the table for set pieces. And the thing is with Kepa, when I talk to Chelsea fans and I say, listen, stop the bias stuff for a second, stop the Courtois hate for a second. Let's actually just sit down and be honest. What is Kepa good at? Big man thing.
Yeah.
God. Because he's not a good shot stopper because his save percentage is the worst in the league. Sorry. He's not good at commanding his area because he's quite short, quite timid, and he doesn't have a great leap. And if you watch any corner or any cross that gets swung into the box, I remember quite vividly Ajax at home, 4-4. Ziyech was just dropping balls in dead right and center, and this boy just was not coming out for any of them. And it just nerves into the defense because when a ball's whipped in, it would be lovely if your goalkeeper could just come and collect, but he's just like, nah, you guys have that one. I'm just going to.
Yeah.
His distribution this season has been quite poor. He's given it away quite a lot. That was meant to be his massive strength. If that's going to be your strength, you need to be Alisson. You need to be almost set assists, Neuer level. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be impeccable because if that's going to be your strength with all these weaknesses, it better be bloody good. So there's just so many things with Kepa that are just not good enough. And I can't find the strength. Whenever I talk to some of his biggest defenders, they can't really tell me his strength. They just tell me last season he saved the penalty with his knee against Frankfurt, and I said, listen, every now and then a clock can be right twice a day, but at the end of the day, that fancy stuff is no good for me if you're not going to do it on a consistent basis. All of these these moments that we speak about, you know, every now and then, that's not going to cut it. We need week in, week out performances. So even that shot from Zaha, I know people will say it was an amazing shot. A shot that goes high up into the net from range will always look amazing, but if you look at the goal, it's quite central. And I'm putting my house on it that Courtois and Czech saved that. They just do. They tip that over the bar, man. And when it goes in, it looks glorious and it's a fast shot and it's high and it's stylish and it's sensational and it gets the commentary going. But listen, any top goalkeeper in the world with a high reach and tall and they're tall and everything, they reach that and they tip over the bar. So yeah, it's mad.
This is how it goes, bruv. When you look at Kepa, it's just, bruv, I don't understand. I don't know what you're buying into, innit? He's on a long contract. He's a young goalkeeper. Bruv, I know man can say it's confidence, but he just doesn't look that good, bro. I don't know what the scouts were doing. Them man took the money and ran, innit? Them man took the money and ran, fam.
They talk about youth, yeah, and he's not that young. Like, I know for a goalkeeper he might be young, but Oblak I think is a year older. The basketball goalkeeper is a year older. Like, it's about time that he actually started producing and showing us the promise that we paid for. We should never have paid for that in the first place. There's nobody that will agree.
He should be doing a bit, but he's 25. Do you know what it is with Kepa for me? I don't know why he's falling off because I used to rate him ahead of Leno because obviously maybe it's the La Liga bias thing because I'm watching La Liga. Obviously, when you're playing in Prem, I'm going to see more of you in it. So I said, no, this guy's a decent keeper. 70 million's a bit. Arsenal fans ask me which one do I rate because I wasn't the biggest fan of Leno. And now, like, I can't see how Kepa fell off so much to the point where I can't even, like, I don't think much of Leno still, but I think Leno's definitely above him. So, like, why is Kepa falling off? Like, is it, I don't know. It's like, for me, he's falling off ever since he had that little bust up with Sarri in the cup final or whatever. I think a madness has just happened to him. He's just gone downhill from there, man. It's just Sarri done something to him.
As a fan, that's when I lost my patience. I remember that game. That's actually when I made my first video. And I was like, that's when I made my first video. And I was like, I think we lost on penalties and he didn't come off for Caballero, who used to play for City and probably had some inside knowledge on their kickers. And he was like, no, I'm staying on, calm down. And I'm just like, you're just disrespecting. Like I value the passion and everything, but Sarri was going through a hard time. You're disrespecting the decisions now, and it's just getting a little bit hard. Yeah, and ever since then, my love for him just like halved. And ever since then, the thing is, yeah, as fans, when a new player comes in, you give them time. You know, you give them the benefit of the doubt. You're customizing to a new league. When that time and that love stops and it's time to get objective, it's a different ballgame for these players, you know, because no more am I doing the propaganda, no more am I blinded by the light. If I'm done giving you time because I feel like you've had enough time or you've done something to like piss me off, it is activity time, and I will go digging into the stats. I will watch your game.
Yeah, when you actually deep it, yeah, the brother told the manager he's not coming off the pitch, bro. Like when you actually deep it, listen, when you forget everything surrounding this thing in black and white, even Sunday League, as the manager, I'm coming on the pitch and I'm dragging you off.
Yeah, you're getting ripped up. You're getting ripped up for that. You're drawing us all out. You're drawing out.
Man said no on TV.
No.
He said no.
Man said, nah, I'm cool, blood. Stay there, chill.
Who does that? And the thing is that was so mind-boggling about this. This ain't Terry. This ain't Lampard under like Villas-Boas. They would still come off. It's not drug Villas-Boas. We've had managers with less experience, less ability than Sarri, and players with way more say around the club, way more ego, way more reason to have it with what they've done. Kepa. This is a 25-year-old Spanish goalkeeper who's done nothing up until that point. He's been 6 months and he thinks he's calling the shots. I just was like, your arrogance is way too high, bro. You better be the
and he hasn't shown to be, bro. So I don't know. It'd be interesting because you can't replace someone. I think he came in on what, like an 8-year deal or something stupid. I'm hearing.
Yeah, 7-year deal. He's an Alan Pardew, fam. He's an Alan Pardew. He's an Alan Pardew. He's only just finished getting that payment now, Alan Pardew, this season. That's what he is, bro. It's like. It's just like, you know, the ones you enter a long-term relationship and then you start having kids and all this, and it's just, you got too much ties, and it's like, you just want to end it, but there's too much going on.
Way too much going on, bro. So I don't know what's going to happen. How confident are you feeling about your run to the end of the season, bro? Because Chelsea, I did say when I done Match of the Day X, I said that I still think Chelsea will just get over the line and keep the third spot. I don't think we'll catch them for the simple fact that even though on paper we've got an easier run, I just feel like when it matters, Chelsea just grind the results out, bro. And like the Crystal Palace result was another one where they probably didn't deserve all 3 points, but they got it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you're in a run right now where you're just matching our results.
Yeah, this club do have like a little bit of a juju thing. Like they will just get things that they don't deserve at times. Obviously, United, let's talk about that. United have a lot of penalties going their way. I'm not sure about So that's why I'm not too confident in the third place. I think, you know, the way you guys are attacking, maybe we'll slip to fourth, but I am confident we'll keep top four because Leicester are, I don't think Leicester are serious in terms of the way that they're gonna go about this in the next few games. I think they will fall off. They've pushed us far. I think, you know, when we look at the lockdown, it hasn't helped the likes of Sheffield United. You know, those kind of teams, even Wolves, you know, they were really pushing and getting right in the mix, and it was starting to look very dodgy for a second. But I think the lockdown is just kind of reset. It's like a reset button, and those teams, they don't have the quality we do, and it's just pushed them back a little bit. So whereas I was fearing that a Sheffield United or a Wolves could actually do some damage and really potentially actually knock one of us off our perch, now lockdown came in. And now the big boys are kind of stepping up, and it's like Man United, Chelsea, they're just putting together the games that they have to, getting the points that they have to. You guys are looking much more comfortable than us when you win games. That's my thing. Is I think, you know, in terms of your team being balanced, defensively, you've got a great record. It was all about coming back to help Bruno. You know, Greenwood's now getting his go instead of Daniel James. Now you're starting to cut open teams, and maybe that wasn't Ollie's strength, but at the same time, like you said before, on a previous stream, that he didn't have the ingredients. So, you know, if you don't have ingredients to make the cake, you can't complain if the cake doesn't get made. Do you know what I mean? It's like this. So if you don't have your most creative player, breaking down teams isn't easy. Now we're starting to see Man United hit 4s and 3s consecutively. It's quite worrying, you know. So I think
back with them direct debits, man. I can't lie.
it's worrying, man. And then
he said that.
In that change room, man. He's managing all but name, fam. There's no way United have just flipped it back to counter-attacking football. I think both of you mess it up more so United. It's down to you, lot. I mean, like Rants perfectly said, football isn't one on paper. Like games aren't one on paper. You can look at how easy it looks to your blue in the face, but literally, you've hit form at the right time. I think Leicester are starting to think, oh shit, we're in this position. Everyone's behind us. I think United are relishing in that. They're on a good run of form, but they're not currently occupying third or fourth. So there's not a target on their back of sorts. And like Rand said earlier, you know, everybody's back in form. Ollie's found a purple patch. Everybody's fit. Everybody's enjoying playing football. And it's similar to what I said about Arsenal in that this is a time of the season to ride players' form, to ride positions, that to not change too much. And I think Ollie's finally clocked that. Play your best players, don't change up too much. Because I think United now, they've got a good base going into next season. You sign a left-sided centre-half, a left-back, improve the depth per se. They could say some things. It's similar to Chelsea. You get a centre-half, you could say some things. And as an Arsenal fan, I can't help but being sour with this top four debate, man. I'm just hoping, as Wenger, likely things can happen. Just hoping for a Disney Channel miracle, but it's a myth, man.
It's mad. You know what it is with football, yeah? Like, when things are going for you, yeah, at either end of the table, do you know what I mean? This reason why I knew we were going to pan Villa, because I'm like, bruv, you see when things are not going for you, you do not want to be playing against a team that is going for them, blood. You know them ones. And things have been going for us. So I knew Villa were going to hold smoke. And they were lucky they didn't hold 6. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of them ones where I look at us right now, we've got a bag of penalties where it's all been like, bro, like, not only have we broken the penalty record, yeah, like, period, but there's been bare dubious ones. Like the Bruno thing was never a penalty in a million years, bro. He literally stood on the brayer. Like, he went to do a 360, he bugged it out, stepped on the brayer, got a pen. And you know, right at the beginning of the game, you see when them things are going for you, you just have to just accept these gifts, bro. That's what it was. But it was a gift. There's no other word for it, bro. At the beginning of the game.
It's like Ferguson in his day, where you guys, you know them ones where last 10 minutes, Man United need a goal, or last 5 minutes, and then, you know, you know Fergie time's coming. And
I knew what time it was.
That game against Man City, man, where Mark Hughes is just like looking up into the heavens, and I'm just like, bro, you don't even know what's coming. Ferguson sitting there, he may as well have a cigar saying, listen, it's time.
It's coming. But the thing is, it's a combination of the thing is with Ferguson, yeah, you make your own luck in it. That was pure intimidation, bro. These men were scared to put more than they were scared to put less than 4 minutes. Yeah, they were scared, innit? They were scared.
If you have to go back into the dressing room. It's like, do you want to just pop 6 minutes, or do you want to go and get slapped up in the dressing room with no cameras? It's like, it's up to you. Do you know what I mean? It's your life on the line at the end of the day. I just think with United as well, what we should touch on is if they get Sancho, which is, you know, it's kind of like a 50-50. If you get Sancho and put him in that attack, yo,
and the centre-half is peak, man. I can't lie.
You stick Sancho on, you put him on either wing. He's very. I've always said
our team is looking an absolute mazza, bro. I'm telling you. Do you know what I mean? And like, even with like making your own luck, yeah, bro. Like with the Fergie time, my man used to be looking when it got into like the last 15 minutes of a game. If we needed a goal, Ferguson's talking to the linesman saying, I hope you're looking at that. I hope you're looking at that. And then he's tapping the watch, so he's applying pressure throughout, bruv. Like, you see this? This is another tactic that goes under the radar, bro. Not only did he know how to manage his players, but he knew how to manage the whole, anything that's going on the pitch, the officials, everything. He's chatting to them because it's all about psychological warfare here. He's saying to these man, he's like, yo, you saw that? How long was that? 30 seconds, yeah? And he's tapping the watch. He's letting man know, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. As soon as that board goes up, you know. Then the Stretford end goes mad and the ball gets sucked into the goal, blood. I'm telling you, if you've been to Old Trafford, the Stretford end is bullying, fam. It's bullying, fam. Like, bro, the amount of times I've seen the man scream the ball into the goal, it's real, bro. It's the same with the Kop as well. At Anfield, bro, like, man are scared, fam. As soon as the ball's in and around that box, bro, as soon as everyone stands up off their seat and you hear the crowd, it's mad, bro. Like, the players get an extra 10-20%, bro. Like, it's not a myth. It's not a myth, bro. So when man are scoring these goals, yeah, and man are saying Fergie time, it's because he manipulated these extra 30 seconds for the last 20 minutes talking to the linesman. Like, bro, this guy's a genius, bro. So man need to understand, yeah, that even though he's not there, the myth still lives on, bro. And you know how powerful that is, bro. Like, that's how Jose's still stealing a living, because in our heads, we knew when he was great. That's the only reason why he's still relevant now. Because by all intents and purposes, he shouldn't even be managing no more. It should be done. You know them ones, but because of what he's done previously, he still carries a certain aura, even though his performances don't warrant that. But you see what I mean?
As well, it's like going for a job interview, right? If you've got a CV and it's impressive, regardless of what your last job is, if you just say, listen, I'm not going to give you the reference for my last job, but I've got the job before that. That's kind of Mourinho. Do you know what I mean? That's literally him. It's like, yo, the other reference got that I haven't got the contact information right now.
Yeah, but the email and it's defunct.
It's just like he's got all of these things on his CV, and no one's really fact checking his recent stuff. And due diligence. It's like, and he's got the words. He's very charismatic. You step into the interview, you put your nice suit on, you got your words, you say them all nice, say the sentences in the right way. And the next thing you know, you have the job. And it's like, when you get the job, it's like, yo, this guy can't do anything.
He's have to twang it, man. That's the thing. Jose's a charmer, man. He's as much as he's arrogant and ignorant and all these things, he's a charmer. He knows how to deal with the press. He knows how to get people there. The way he's an intelligent man. Do you not think he sat Levy down and said, I know all about your team, the heat map, this guy, that guy, you know what he's done. And then once he gets that, throws it in the bin. I'm here to be a bastard. Like, I'm here to do what I want. Look at Ryan Sessegnon. He's a whole restart. He's bullying Ryan Sessegnon on Ndombele, saying, come, let's go Enfield. You're jogging up and down with us. Like, bullying them. Like, the man's a bully, man.
Bro, when it comes to psychological warfare, that is where Jose used to flourish, bro. He used to have Sir Alex Ferguson on toast, bro. Don't think just because I'm a Man United fan, I didn't see that he was bullying my guy, bro. Jose came in and was bullying Fergie, bro. I don't think Fergie beat him. And if he did, it was only the one time, bro. He was coming in, bullying him, bro. Psychologically bullying, man. And then outwitting him tactically as well, bro. Jose came in an era where he changed the game and he turned it on his head. And most of it was psychological. But now he's lost that aura. Other managers look at him now and they're just like, you see the same cheeky Jose that used to come in and say certain things and the specialist in failure, and he's not there no more.
Yeah, he's quite weak.
Tired old man.
Life humbles you. Life has humbled Jose Mourinho. It came at him. Everything he said about Wenger, it came at a man quick. Like, it came, and I think, do you know what? For a period, I think I saw a better Jose Mourinho as a person. Like, there was a sec. He was kind of more likable, kind of humble. It's like he understood it, and it's like, since he left the United job, he said, you know what? I'm on this party thing again. I tried being nice because United was a job he wanted for a time. He even said it indirectly when he was at Chelsea. He's been trying to get, and at a time it looked unrealistic, but the stars must have aligned for him. I think he just thought, let me double down on my arrogance and my ignorance. I've won what I've won in the game. I'm on my way out. If I cite the way I set up my contracts, it's death row, isn't it? Like, you can't bust out. Like, Spurs a couple of million compensation. Like, he's twanged it amazingly, and it's tough because they've just spent 60 million on Ndombele. He does not care that you spent that on him. He doesn't like you. He doesn't care that Sessegnon's got a future. He doesn't want you. It's like Jose can be the best thing or the worst thing that can happen to a football club, and right now it's been the worst thing of a couple.
Yeah, I just say I've been reading the comments. You guys are throwing in some great comments. First of all, like, Ollie is a manager more than a coach. I think I can agree with that. Same with Lampard as well. I think the new way of going forward as well is like, it doesn't maybe always work, but these guys that are managers before coaches, you can surround yourself with great coaches, great tactics behind you as well. But just man management, which is what Mourinho has been weak for recently, that's so important in the modern game, man management. And like you were saying with Mourinho as well, is that he used to have the charm. He used to be kind of like Ferguson in a different way with the press, very manipulative. That's where his tactics and mind games used to start to have an influence on the match. He used to have iconic beefs with Rafa, with Guardiola, with refs. Yeah. And it was all mind games. It was all mind games. Before you even got into that pitch, you had Mourinho in your head. And like you said, the run he had over Ferguson, it all kind of started with the Porto win at Old Trafford, where he ran down the touchline. He psychologically, he just had. Now it's like he just seems weak. He seems lethargic, less energy. He doesn't have the same swagger. He just seems tired, man. Like, just honestly, let this guy and go do international football. It only rocks around every couple of months. and let him chill on the beach in between. He's retiring early. He's quite young, but he's retiring early. You can see his hair is going grey. Let him bow out. That's how I see it.
Bro, how to be? No, carry on. Sorry.
They said as well, just the last one, which was a good comment, which was it's going to take 30 million to sack him. That's just facts. Tottenham are not paying 30 million to sack nobody.
I rate Jose for stuff like that. You know, I rate that. I rate that. I rate that bread. Oh, my God, I rate that. He's twanged it. You want to get rid of him, you got that's basically buying a player. Like, this what it is. And he'll go and get finesse another job doing it somewhere. Like, Newcastle get that new owner. You will see Jose link with them. Like, he will get that. Like, he will fully get that job. Like, fully.
Bro, it's mad. In modern day football, to be a successful manager, all you need to do is be a very good manager because of player power, and make sure you got a good relationship with recruitment. That's it. When it comes to coaching, you can bring someone else to do that, bro. Ferguson always had someone else coaching. Ferguson weren't no elite coach and had the bruv. Like, he wasn't a coach like Carlo is a coach, bro. Like, they were different managers. Bro. Same era. Carlo Ancelotti, when you look at the clubs he's managed, and also if you look at Sir Alex Ferguson's head-to-heads with the likes of the Ancelottis, Hienkes that was at Bayern Munich, his head-to-heads aren't even that great, to be completely honest. These man, there was a lot of times in you see with them man there were a lot of times in the Champions League where tactically we didn't quite get it right, but we had the players. And that happens. But one thing Sir Alex Ferguson will forever be known for is he will get 90% out of a 6 or 5 out of 10 footballer, bro. And that's down to man management, bro. Even when you listen to the language that these players use to discuss him, bro, they don't talk about, oh yeah, the clever time when he done this. He'd be like, listen, the guy knew when to put an arm around you, when to give you a bollocking. Man refer him, like, even when I spoke to Bojan Djordjic, he said he was like the grandfather that you just looked up to and you just loved him, bro. Like, even when he stuck it on you, you knew it was coming from a place of he actually cares about you, bro. He knows about your whole family. He knows about your mum, your auntie, everyone. Like, the brand knows individually every single player. And that's man management. That's why these men will run through brick walls for it. It's not because Ferguson was switching to a 3 at the back and all that, because he wasn't. You know, the ones there, there's different types of managing. In the modern game, what Jurgen Klopp's done very well is he has a philosophy. He's got very good coaches around him. Yes, he can coach as well, but ultimately his man management second to none, bro. You see man out drinking with the fans, bro. Even when they lost the final, the Champions League final, he was out having drinks with the fans, bro. That is how you endear yourself to the fan base. And if that's what he's like with the fans, imagine what he's like with his players, bro.
Yeah.
He looks like that kind of guy, though. It doesn't surprise you, does he? That he's at the pub just drinking with the rest of the lads.
Because he's very human, bro. He's got a very human element to him.
He's human. That's it. You said it right, Rants. He's just that element of humanness, and it's like, I think Klopp's got the right thing, because clearly you can't be a top manager like him and not have that sinister side of you, that nasty side, that you're never playing for me. But he's balanced it. It's like even he's honest. It's like even there's segments coming out of when was it Barcelona when they did the 4-0? He said to them, he's like, I don't know how we're gonna do it. I don't know if we can do it, but because it's you lot, I believe in you. And they're gonna want to fight for, man. It's simple as that. Like Jogba will bust his face for Jose. Eto'o said the only man I'm playing out wide for is Jose. So again, Jose needs to remember who he was. And it's like Rand said about Ferguson, he wasn't necessarily the greatest coach, getting the best out of the player, making Ronaldo who he is, but he knew what to make Ronaldo tick. He knew how to provoke before. And that's actually what I'd like to happen at Arsenal, what we spoke about in the last one. It's like Arteta can tell these men until he's blue in the face what he wants, but he needs to provoke that individually for players to sort out problems themselves. That's what I mean when I say players need to sort it out initially by themselves, really.
100%. Matisse, how are you feeling for the game later, man? Match predictions, bruv. The Chelsea fans want to know. Big up everyone watching. Make sure you let us know in the comments where you're watching from as well. Yeah, what are you saying, Matisse, for the score?
So, I'll probably predict like a 3-1 win. I do think we'll win, but I definitely think we'll concede. I think set pieces, again, are going to be a problem. I've said so many times whenever I'm watching Chelsea, whenever they have a set piece, I usually just turn around and face the wall and let what happens, because our set pieces, we really do concede. But going forward, we look good. You know, Pulisic is in really good form. So he's fit and firing, and he's kind of like carrying the mantle for us right now. I think he's really I was listening to a recent debate, and his dad was in the discussion. He's spoken about Pulisic, saying that he's really working on his finishing since lockdown, which is quite evident. The way that he's going on his left foot, he's not afraid to go both ways, and he's really starting to bring that into his game. So his finishing is really, really impressing me. Willian has stepped up as well, probably for that new contract that I spoke about last time. And Giroud is a player that I think is he hasn't got everything. He's got limitations, but for me, he's such a top player, man. Such a good player. He does the simple things very well. You put the ball into his feet and he can lay it back off for you. World-class target man for me in terms of what he does do. And that's why he's so pivotal for France. And it's been brilliant for us because we've got a lot of attacking midfielders and wingers like, Mason Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And it's really all about just who can they play off, making sure that you have a solid base to play off. It's like we can get goals in other parts of the field if we can create the chances, but who's going to set those up? Who's going to link it up? Who's going to actually be consistent with that link up as well? So the players trust that when they play the 1-2, they're going to get it back. And there's not really many better than Giroud for that job. So he should hopefully be playing as well. So yeah, we're looking good going forward. It's just all about the defense, but I think we will win just because, as you said earlier, Chelsea have this knack of getting results when they absolutely have to. We have put in a little bit of breathing space between us and Leicester, but it's not enough to mess around. And we do have Liverpool away coming up soon as well, which is going to be an interesting game. Whether they're on the beach or not, you can't really predict. Hopefully we can get something out. Yeah, but it's not. I would prefer if we win today. Obviously, Man City, we don't know what's happening with their ban. Hopefully they get the ban.
I don't know, but apparently Pep was saying the stuff I've seen we're gonna get with this, and some of journalists I saw on Twitter saying decisions are coming.
They're gonna bust pace. It's looking like they're gonna bust case from all what I'm starting to feel around what the feeling is around football is that them man are going to be able to spend peas, and also FFP's been relaxed as well because of Corona. So I think that it's going to be an absolute mazzoline, fam. That's what I think. I think they're going to bust case and they're going to start.
And you say, it's time to
this is why I'm begging for Chelsea to get. This is why I'm begging for Chelsea to get Kai Havertz. Absolutely, just get that deal done as soon as possible because that's a top player for us. Get that done, and then we can focus on the defense. But we all know when it comes to signings, attacking players are the ones that we usually be fighting out with the big boys. So those are the ones that are difficult to get. So yeah, hopefully they don't get away with it because obviously we had to serve our time. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping if they do get the ban, then 5th becomes Champions League as well. So then suddenly the likes of Leicester and United, to be honest, if they don't get away with it and they do get the ban, I think top four is kind of decided. Your Champions League spots go to Chelsea, United, and Leicester, and I think everybody just calms down because the gap between United and Wolves is quite a bit now. Sheffield United definitely out of the mix. So I think if we really just hopefully everybody just win this week, and if City can get that ban, I think everybody's sorted. I think everybody can go and relax.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, bro. How are you feeling? How are you feeling for this derby, bro? How are you feeling, bro? What's the head saying and what's the heart saying? Because I know they must be saying two different things. Like.
My heart is saying, just smack these men up. Like, just listen, just channel your Henrys, channel all of these guys that were on it at White Hart Lane. My brain is saying a draw, funny enough. My brain is saying 2-2-1-1. Like, that's just how it feels the derbies have gone. It's like they'll take the lead, we'll take the lead. They might have had a pen or something. That will twang an equalizer. Like there was one time it was just Legia light-skinned on that would score for both teams. Like it was Kieran Gibbs or Oxlade-Chamberlain scoring for us and whoever it was for them. I think it's a draw, man. I think it's 2-2-1-1. My brain, that's what my brain says. Heart is saying 3-0 Arsenal, 3-2 Arsenal, man. Like I want to hit them. And I want to really stress out Spurs. Can't lie, because we ain't got nothing else. So I might as well just be giving something to talk was on Twitter with, man.
Score draw in it. Score draws.
Literally.
That would be sensible, bro. To be fair, score draw. We're like looking at both teams and the form and stuff. I feel like there's never been a better time to play these, man. In it, there's never. That's why I was so angry. You see, when we drew with Spurs, I was fuming because Ollie got the lineup wrong. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, bruv, start Mason Greenwood against these man. Start Pogba. He didn't start them, yeah. And in the end, Pogba had to come off the bench and win a penalty for us. Do you know what I mean? But if we started with that same vim that we attacked them with in the last half an hour, we put 3 past that Tottenham team. Light work, bro. They offered nothing apart from the goal that was straight at the goalkeeper and the keeper made a mistake. Do you know what I'm saying? Apart from that, they had nothing, bro. And I just think that their form hasn't really changed post-lockdown, bro. We had them the first game, and they don't look any better now than they did when we played them, innit? I think that there's fundamental problems at Tottenham Football Club that aren't going to fix themselves, innit? And I don't know if Jose's got it in his locker to fix them. So it'll be very, very interesting. And to answer you lot's questions about the Oli situation, listen, I'll tell you, man, a million times over, yeah? There's no Manchester United fan right now that's screaming for Oli to get out of the club, bro, because there's no logic in it. There's no logic. That's what you call an agenda, bro. I don't have an agenda against my manager. I didn't think that he got the job on merit, and I don't think he did. Do you know what I mean?
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
To be honest, when we talk about CVs earlier, he definitely didn't have the CV. So
he didn't have the CV. He didn't have the CV to even get a job in the Premier League, let alone that Manchester United. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got one
player.
Bruv, he's got a relegation on his CV, and also he ain't got a sustained Premier League challenge on his CV. It's not like he's like David Moyes or something that can say, you know what, I had Everton respectable for 8 to 10 years or something. Bruv, Oli had the one Cardiff job, relegation, done out, bro. So that says straight away you're not a Premier League manager. And then you've gone to a that nobody even ranks in the top 10 in Europe or nothing, won a league title there, and nobody cares about that. So for you to go and get one of the biggest jobs in football with that CV, you didn't get it on merit. That's a fact. Also, when we went on that terrible run, and tactically he couldn't get himself out of the mess because he wasn't a good enough coach, it spoke for itself. David Moyes, the run that he was on wasn't as bad as the run Oli was on, and he got sacked for it. Louis van Gaal won an FA Cup and got sacked. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you put all of those things together, Oli should have got the chop when man was in that horrible run of 14 games, and he rode it out because they favour him at the club. He's an ex-club legend. He has a good relationship and that. And you know what? His reputation got him time when he didn't deserve it. But right now, what he's doing, no one can look at what the club's doing right now and say, right, get rid of him now. Like, it doesn't make no sense, innit, bro? Like, we've turned the corner and we're going in the right direction now. So regardless of how I felt at the time, I can't say, right, yeah, still get him out. Do I think he's a great coach? No, I don't. Do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of good things he's doing in terms of man management, in terms of recruitment. Obviously, Dan James was a terrible signing. Other than that, do you know what I mean? Harry Maguire, for me, I wouldn't have gone for him for the money. However, we've got him now. Do you know what I mean? I don't agree with the fact that he got the armband. Don't think he's captain material. But again, like at the moment, when I weigh up everything, he's got more things right than he's got wrong in this period. And that's why man can't be like, right, get him out. But then on the flip side, if them man said, yo, if I heard rumbling tomorrow and then man said, oh yeah, we sacked Oli and Poch is coming in, bro, do you think I'm going to be upset? I won't be upset because I'll be like, Oli's done an amazing job. He's left the club in a very, very good place, and we're getting a proper coach coming in now, blood, and I can fully get behind that, and support that, blood, because I rate man's thing. I've seen what he done at Southampton. He made them very respectable. Look what he's done at Spurs. We're respecting it even more now. Now we're seeing what Jose can't do there. Do you know what I'm saying? And Jose's a world-class manager with a world-class CV, and Jose can't get out of these boys what Poch got out of them. So you have to respect Poch's thing is on a different level to Solskjaer's. Like, it's not debatable. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's a different.
But if you think I'm going to be running around screaming, yeah, get him out. Based off what, bruv? Based off the last what? Do you know what I mean? It don't make sense, bruv. That's when man are just deluded, and man are just like, bruv, man just have vendettas against players and against managers.
It's a pride thing as well, because if someone's putting their hard time into saying Oli out, they brought all the statistics and everything from last season, and now they have to suddenly be like, you know what? Fair play. It's a pride thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like some people don't want to let go of their pride. There's actually no reason to sack him out. You know,
none.
Just of what you think of his tactics,
changing up the levels.
Even from a club standpoint, the message it sends out, it doesn't make any sense. Man, the players are going to be like, "What are you doing?" Like you see players in their clips, their training clips, their changing room, they're having a blast. They're loving life.
They're enjoying going to work. Like simple.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? If you're enjoying work, you can't sack the manager. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It makes no sense. Any Manchester United fan, that's saying sack Oli now, they're not thinking correctly, bro. It's their ego or their pride getting in the way of whatever. Like, I don't for 1 minute, think that I was wrong to want rid of him, because I wasn't. Do you know what I'm saying? I wasn't. And at the time, he deserved to get the chop. You know what I mean? But the facts are, but the facts are, he's still here, bro. You know, them ones there, bro. That's just what it is. And he's doing all right now for whatever reason. There's multiple reasons why he's doing all right. The fact that we've got better players helps. The injuries have cleared up, which helps as well. Do you know what I mean? And my thing with him was never his man management. I never said, he's not getting the best out of these players. I'm like, brother, he's not improving these man because he don't have the tools to do that. But if you're going to buy players for him, then he doesn't need to. You know, like that. He doesn't need to. Like with Jose Mourinho, Jose don't make players better, bruv. But you give him the checkbook and he brings in the man that he wants, innit? So if Ollie's way of managing is going to be, we're going to give him the players and he's just going to make sure that they're happy, and then it's down to Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick to coach the team, that's cool, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But then at least we know what manager we're getting. Do you know what I mean? But if you accept Ollie as a man motivator, a man manager, and the guy that just keeps the peace and keeps the atmosphere in the dressing room, if you accept that that's what his limitations are, that's fine, bro. Do you know what I mean? When you start thinking that this player is going to be making bare tactical changes and win you a game from 2-0 down, it's not going to happen, lads. Do you know what I mean? So you just have to know what you're accepting from the manager at the time, bro. And that's why everyone has to have their own realistic expectations. With Chelsea, you know that Frank Lampard is the man manager, bro. He's not the coach, bro. It's Jody Morris. The first thing he done was bring Jody in when he went to Derby County, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? So you know that Jody's responsible for the style of play and Lampard's responsible for motivating the players. And probably to a degree, what players come in and what players go out is going to be down to the manager, bro. You know the hierarchy at the club. At Manchester United, we had a hierarchy where Ferguson was the face. He was never the main coach for most of the success we had. He wasn't the main coach, innit? But a lot of Manchester United fans don't know that, because at the time, Ferguson, like, coaches didn't used to get the limelight that they get now.
We had Meulenstein and all them man there.
Yeah, we had Meulenstein. Do you know what I'm saying? We had Kairos, we had Steve McLaren, and then there were other people lower down like Ricky Sprager and all these guys. These guys were the coaches that were feeding us through, and they were coaching the youth and bringing them up. And the manager was in communication with them. But Ferguson wasn't on the pitch with his boots on, like, most of the time. He stopped doing that. You see what I mean? But people don't understand that part of the game. They're starting to understand it now, innit? As a man manager, Ollie's getting everything right, bro. Man seeing Martial smiling. Pogba's doing press conferences now. He wasn't doing press conferences. And Ollie loves Pogba. Like, there's never been no doubt. Like, never been no doubt. He said, the first thing he said when he came in is, I want to build a team around this youth. Like, that's the first thing he said. Do you know what I'm saying? And he had him in the youth team as well, because he coached Jesse and them man as well, because he was a youth coach before he left. So he's already got a relationship with these guys. So his man management is spot on, bro. Like, his indecisions, a lot of them, I don't understand. But again, when he's got better players, it will be easier, because it's like, you can't bring on Daniel James because he's not there. You know what I'm saying? You can't bring on Pereira because he's not there, blood. Like, when I look at the Norwich game and I saw the starting lineup and I saw Juan Mata, Bruno Fernandes, and then I saw McTominay, I saw Fred, and then I saw Dan James. I was like, bruv, not even Dan James. I saw Lingard on the left wing, Mata on the right wing. Agallo up front, Bruno in the hole, and then I saw McTominay and I saw Fred. I said, if you look at the profile of these players, none of these guys are good at retaining the ball. There's no ball retention in there. Fred gives the ball away a lot because he plays risky. McTominay gives the ball away a lot because he can't really pass. He's just someone that he's just a physical player. Bruno gives the ball away a lot because he's always trying things. Jesse ain't got no pace and he's playing on the wing. Mata ain't got no pace. And Agallo's going to be isolated. And that's exactly what happened. Do you know what I mean? So again, there's no coaching to that. It's just, I've put the players out. Guys, do something. They can't do it. They're not good enough to just win games on their own, innit? Players, a team of that level need a coach. Do you know what I mean? When you've got 50 wavy ballers, you just put them out there and just
do your work your magic.
Bruv, do your work, boys. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what we're seeing with Manchester United. When we've got a fully fit team, bruv, man look good in it. And then when we don't, man look rubbish. You know, like that. And this brother saying Klopp just needed the players. Listen, you see when Klopp came in, a man were running banter about Klopp, because they were saying his win percentage was the same as Brendan's. It might have been, but the style of football was significantly different. Significantly different. You know, that is the difference with the Klopp thing, because the way they were coached and what you were seeing on the pitch was different. When I saw the Ollie thing, it looked exactly like the Jose thing. Just man were running more, but it looked the same. It looked the same. Do you see what I'm saying? The only reason it looks different now is because man's team, we got better ballers now, bro. That's just what it is. And we've got Martial playing in his position. We've got Rashford doing the next thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And if it's down to the players, cool. Give Ollie the players. Just give him the players. That's it.
Yeah.
Then we're looking at the board now. And we're blaming the board if they don't back, man. You see what I mean? But how it stands right now, he's a manager that needs the players, because without the players, it's very evident his limitations are there. Norwich we were minutes away from going to penalties and we probably would have lost that. Do you know what I'm saying? And that was down to him making 3 or 4 changes, bro. Like, a manager should really be able to make that many changes and not suffer that much, bro. Man, seen Liverpool make bare changes and slap up Everton with their youths, blood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With United as well, their recruitment has been so messy since Ferguson left. You know, you take a look at players like Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Ibrahimovic, Alexis Sanchez. It's been so much short-term players. Now you can say, listen, just back Ollie, because even if you don't think he's going to be the man to take you right to the top, and you think it's a Poch next,
At the base.
Poch is not going to complain with Wan-Bissaka, with Sancho, with, if you get him, with Greenwood, with Martial, with Bruno, with Pogba being the key man. He always should have been. Winning the World Cup with France is the main man. That is clearly your best player. So you're not exactly sacrificing the future. You're bringing in young talent. You know, you was looking at Bellingham. Yeah, players. If you're looking at players like this, then you're good. Do you know what I mean? It's not a disaster if you say, listen, let Ollie keep doing what he can do until the time is right. Until he runs out of shine.
Until he hits his ceiling, and then bring in the next man. His ceiling isn't dominating Europe. It's not, bro. It's not.
The way that Man United should be working it now is you're building the squad for your own club ethos, your own vision. You know, less so on each individual manager. That's what Chelsea were doing, and this is why we're in the position we were in. We were every time a manager came in, we were like, right, their thing. But their thing was short term. So we had counter-attacking players that now we need an attacking when we're playing an attacking system, and we got players that are suited to 3 at the back with wing backs. When now we're playing 4 at the back. If your manager is not looking long term, then you need to have a balance with the club, because it's like, this man's not going to be here forever. Ollie's targets are long term. He clearly cares about the future of the club. It's not just about his time, it's the time after him and after that. He's not going to be here when Greenwood's in his peak, when he's like 27, but he's making sure Greenwood plays now, so he can be good for Man United in the future. Ollie knows where it is. He knows he's not Poch, he's not Klopp, but he cares about United, and that's where it is the difference. You've got these managers now at clubs that actually care. Klopp cares, you know. You got Arteta cares, Lampard cares, Solskjaer cares. It's all about the manager. They actually care about the club they're at. It's a big difference. And when you've got someone like that, and then they're not combative and they're not riff-raffing with the board, and everybody can see eye to eye and make good collective decisions without any drama, just the whole atmosphere around the club changes. It's a completely different ball game.
100%.
Your future is completely different.
Yeah, we've come into a new era of football now. Do you know what I mean? That's just what it is, bro. It's all about the harmonious approach. Gone are the days where managers come in, cause bare friction, dash players out. You know what I mean? That don't happen now. The manager always goes first now.
Right, man.
So you just have to make a good environment, bro. And that's what you were saying. Man are comparing the Klopp. I don't like the Klopp analogy, because I think it's a disrespect to Jurgen Klopp, innit? Jurgen Klopp's the best manager in the world, bro. Like, man can't be comparing Ollie to Jurgen Klopp, bro. His CV doesn't compare, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, my man's done doing up Bundesliga with a prime Bayern Munich
and chucking it to them.
Yeah. Done. Respect what man done. Don't put Ollie in there, bro. Man was coaching in Norway, bro. Let's not do this, yeah? Don't compare Ollie to Klopp. I get what you man are trying to say, but Klopp inherited a team with Mourinho, and Lambert and them, man, bro. Ollie did.
Sorry, you know them.
Yeah, bro. Like, listen, what he inherited compared to what Solskjaer inherited, different journey, bro. If Klopp inherited the team that Solskjaer inherited, you wouldn't have seen the madness that we had to put up with. No way. Like, Klopp is a different galaxy when it comes to management. Let's not compare the two. Let's not even do that, guys. Like, it's rude, innit? It's rude. Like, even when man compare like Sir Alex Ferguson, when he first came in, we weren't winning nothing, bro. this brother was in Scotland doing bits in Europe, fam.
With Aberdeen.
With Aberdeen, bro. Like, let's not compare Sir Alex Ferguson struggling at the beginning to Ollie Solskjaer. It's disrespectful to these man's CVs, innit? Ollie didn't do nothing. Do you know what I mean? It almost looked like it was a favour thing, man got the job. Either way, it doesn't matter why he got it. As it stands right now, he deserves to be where he is based on what he's done. Do you know what I'm saying? Did he deserve the opportunity to get here? We'll never know, bruv. But that's not the question being asked now. Is what man doing enough? And what he's doing is enough that, like, he don't really need to worry about his job. Why should he? Why should he have to worry about it? What it comes down to is the problem with YouTube is a lot of the time, like people are either afraid to either change their mind on certain subjects, or they don't want to admit that, you know what, I've changed my opinion, bro. Like, you could always change your opinion in football. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean?
Man, you said something perfect there, and it's just made me think. It's like, if you truly love football, you recognize that it's always changing. You know, certain man that are the best today are not going to be the best tomorrow. And it's like every football fan wants to be smart. I guarantee you know yourself with Greenwood. Everyone and their nan could see, not that he wouldn't be, but everyone and their nan knew Greenwood was going to be a baller. Anyone, people that don't give a crap about football can see Greenwood and Sancho and these man are going to be ballers. It's about the ones you're looking at. Man love to be wrong and strong, because I saw this with Emery. Like, when Emery came in, I had my misconceptions about him. Then we went on that winning run, and then people used to get onto me for saying, you know what, the devil's in the details. We're going on these winning runs, but we're always changing things at halftime. If you constantly do the change, you're not starting right. I said, all right, cool. Right now he's doing his thing. People are fully Emery. Emery's changed everything since Wenger. He's then played bad. People are still trying to save face with Emery. Call a spade, fam. Things are, man's doing bad. He's doing bad. It's like Ollie. Right now, Ollie's doing his thing. You can't say he needs to leave. There's that thing in the back of everyone's head. Like, if the form goes a bit dodgy, these things can change. But it's like everyone wants to be wrong and strong. Everyone's one opinion in September has to be the same in July. When football changes, life changes quickly. A week is a long time in football. As you lot know this. Imagine a couple of months. And it's not even a humble pie thing. It's like people, especially what you said, Rants, with the YouTube things. People want agendas. People want to be seen as the guy. Not that there is right and wrong. People purposely put them in these boxes, and people don't want to be right and wrong. People want to be all knowledgeable. It's like, this is why I'm kind of rubbing out social media, because I find football to be annoying now. It's like, people genuinely don't understand the game for what it is.
Like, man will be pulling up videos, and taking them out of context from like years ago or months ago, and it's like, bruv, you man are sad, you know. You know them ones, because what you don't realize is we're football fans. We don't want our team to be bad. We don't want players to be bad. We don't want managers to be bad, bro. Exactly. I've never watched a Man United game saying, right, I want United to lose so Oli can get sacked, bro. Never. You know them ones. They were doing it all by themselves.
Madmen like they want to lose games.
But do you see what I'm saying? It's never been that. But the facts are, man don't have no agenda against no players, bro. If players aren't playing well, I can see they're not playing well. The stats tell me they're not playing well. It's not an agenda, bro. It's not an agenda. And if they have a good game, I'm not against saying that they played well, bro. You know the ones there, because it's like, if they played, for me, it's factual, innit? If you played well, if I'm saying yes, you played well, here are the numbers. It's a fact. If you're saying nah, he played shit, that bruv, you have an agenda. Do you know what I mean? Like, anyone that can't look at different pieces of evidence, and change their opinion based on that, bruv, they need to check their ego in, bruv. You know them ones there. Like, there's no one that should be looking at this United team right now and saying, right, the manager deserves to be sacked. Whether you think he's the best manager for the job, or he's the best manager to take us wherever. Do I think he's the manager to take us to the top of football? No, I don't. But at this present moment in time, there's nothing he's doing that I'm saying, right, man, have to get rid of him now. Do you know what I mean? And the more times, the more time when I wanted him out more is because man knew Poch was available. You know, them ones there. Like, man wasn't saying, get him out and then have Carrick in charge. Just get him out. It wasn't that. It was Pochettino's available, blood. If we don't get him now, we might not ever get him. And we're playing crap. So get rid of man. But now, man don't know what Poch is doing. And Ollie's done enough that, like, I'm like, cool. Pogba's happy. Martial's happy. Those are my guys, blood. Within everyone's team they support, they always have favourite players. My two favourite players are very happy, blood. You know them. So I'm happy, blood, because my previous manager tried to get rid of two of my favourite players.
Tried to
You get me? And this one's got them man happy and smiling and doing their thing. So if them man want Oli to stay, then I'm happy with man here. If we start going on a run of bad form, and he shows that he's out of his depth again, I don't need to say, oh, I was right, whatever. At the time, as it stands right now, take the time and the date, he ain't doing nothing wrong. If in 3-4 weeks, we could end up going out of all cup competitions and end up missing out on, we could end up finishing the top 4, not winning the Europa League, not winning the FA Cup, finish with no trophies. All of a sudden, the mood in the camp's completely different. From man on top of the world right now, we're putting free past everyone to, right, we finished the season, we don't win anything, and, well, man just finished 5th. It could happen.
Yeah.
We could still finish 5th with no trophies, guys. Like, trust me, it's a very realistic possibility because man still have to back up on Sevilla, on Inter. Do you know what I mean? There's teams in the Europa League that it's not a foregone conclusion. FA Cup, we beat Chelsea so many times that they owe us one. you know them ones. So sometimes in football, you know what I mean? So sometimes in football, it could be a thing where Chelsea deal with us the one time that it really matters. And then man get dealt with in the Europa League and then we finish 5th. And then all of a sudden, 5th with no trophy, it don't look that great on paper no more. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So because of that, football fans need to be careful that, like, you have to understand in football, it's all about what's going on at the time. Context is everything. Man can say, right, Dele Alli don't deserve to play for England no more because he doesn't.
Because he's playing dead. Yeah, simple as.
Because he's playing dead. But actually, on paper, he's more experienced and probably better than some of the men that you'd put ahead of him now. So imagine if they showed you this video of saying, right, Dele Alli ain't good enough to play for England, but they showed you that video 2 years ago. It wasn't correct at that time.
Yeah, it wasn't correct. Simple.
Like it makes sense now, but 2 years ago when Dele Alli was banging in goals, man couldn't say that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to contextualize everything you say in football. But what these men do is they clip things. There's no date on it, nothing. Then they put something up a year later and be like, oh yeah, this spray.
This you, It's just
spray. I thought that Lingard was wavy. These times Lingard just scored in fucking 2 Wembley finals in a row, blood, when man was gassing him up. You know, like that. Then all of a sudden you're playing the video like 2 years later when Lingard's not even in the team.
Yeah, it's mad.
It's just football. It's that thing about football, like social media and YouTube and all these things could be used for so good, but too often they're not. It's exhausting. Cause man got agendas, man got things to play. Guys have allegiances to certain players. There's no consistencies because for one, like you said, if someone's played poor, they played bad. Like I don't rate at Arsenal. I'm not necessarily. Let's say I'm not Granit Xhaka's biggest fan. I don't think he's shit, but I'm not his biggest fan. If he plays great like he's been doing, by all means give him his credit. But it seems like football fans, they've only got certain energy for their favorite players in comparison to players they don't rate. And like you said, if they don't like a manager, they're gonna make their bed and just lie in it. They're not, and I think that robs you of seeing the game for what the game actually is. Cause you're United, you're Chelsea, I'm Arsenal, but we enjoy football. If these clubs weren't involved or ever existed, you'll be talking about something else or whatnot. Like United's not involved in football until Monday. I think I could be wrong. You're here on a Saturday at 11 talking about football. People love agendas. Don't get it wrong. We all like the banter thing and whole little fun is here and there, but there's a fine line. And I think many people actually do that stuff to cover their insecurities because they know they don't know what they're on about. They know they can't see the finer things. They know they can't see things from an alternative outlook. So they use all of these things to mask it. And it's sad. Effing sad.
Yeah. That's it, guys. What are you saying for Champions League and Europa League, guys? What's your predictions, bro? I'm still going to go with United to win the Europa League. Because that's my team, blood. And until we're out of it, I have to, innit? And in Champions League, I've gone with Bayern Munich.
Who's in the Europa, though? Like, that's a harder one for me. It's only you or Inter, innit? Like, it's one of you two, really.
I have to go with United for the Europa just because Inter Milan are looking a bit rough under Conte. They were in a 2-horse race for the league and now they're 4th. So that tells you all you need to know about the way their trajectory in terms of the way they're going.
In the final.
We can meet in the final. We're not on the same. We're not on the same side of the draw.
Yeah, I just think confidence is a big thing. I think Man United they're on a higher wave. And obviously now the Europa League's going to finish way later.
Wolves is still in it as well. But
So it really is difficult. There's going to be a break, so it's going to be rough. It's going to be a tough one for the Champions League. I think Bayern Munich definitely have the strongest team, and they look the most efficient as well. But you can never really count out like a Real Madrid just because
know how to do it.
Yeah, it's experience, man. You know, you got your Sergio Ramoses of this world, last minute headers when they don't deserve.
You know,
I'm telling you, they always find a way, man. These clubs. I put it between those two. I think things with PSG is that every year I'm like, I wonder if they'll do it, and they never do step up that team. They're kind of like Tottenham in terms of on the Champions League stage. They just bottom every time. So I'm never going to really vouch for them. Just how much money they've paid for Mbappe and Neymar, they just never seem to get a grip. So
and also their league isn't on at the moment, so they're going to be rusty.
How much fitness are they off? Like, you can play as many friendlies as you want. You're not going to be going against someone with the same level. And it's like Atlanta. I expect PSG to beat Atlanta, but Atlanta are not small boys. Like, anyone that's been watching Europe and things, they can bop the ball around and cause some trouble. So it's like, I think the way the Champions League's done it, I think, you know, only one of, I can't remember everyone, but I think only one of Juventus, it could be PSG, but definitely Juventus, Madrid, and Barcelona, only one of them can reach the final. I mean, for me, because Messi was talking crud last year about winning it, I'm gonna back Barcelona. Something tells me Juventus will do it. You can't not rule out Munich. It's a difficult one. I'll say
Man City are in there. People keep reminding me. I don't care about Man City, to be honest. Like, on the European stage, they're little man, innit? I don't see it. Like, I just don't think that they can do it, innit? Like, but the reason why I chose Bayern is because Louis is in the run for the Ballon d'Or, bro. Man, score him hella goals. Yeah. Plus, they've already wrapped the league up. The confidence is through the roof as well, so they're rested as well. So they're rested, they're confident, and they have the quality, bro. You know them, man. When I look at all of this, Muller's had a good season as well, broke KDB's record. Like, I just think these men are just confident, bro, coming off of winning the title, and also they're rested as well, bro. And when you put those two things together, when you've got a rested team and you've got a confident team, I think they're going to be very hard to beat. Any team that beats Bayern Munich, puts them out with a very, very good chance. So, man, I say Juventus and PSG. I just don't think PSG. I think PSG haven't played competitive football at the highest level, and not just the highest level. I think that PSG struggle in their league because they don't have the battles that we have. They don't have the battles. They don't have a Borussia Dortmund to play.
They're wrapping it up in December, man.
Yeah, they don't have a Dortmund to play. They don't have a Leipzig to play. They don't have a Bayer Leverkusen to play. They don't have a Chelsea to play. They don't have an Arsenal to play. They don't have a Tottenham to play. You know what I mean? So they don't, you know, there's a lot to be said for keeping your tools sharp, blood. When they're playing in their league, they know that they can turn up 70% and beat nearly everyone in that league. So when it comes to when it's their time to step up on the big stage, they ain't got the reserves in them. They don't know how to dig deep because they don't have to dig deep every week, bro.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, as well with Bayern as well, Alphonso Davies is some player. I mean, if you're looking at a player that I haven't seen anybody deal with correctly yet, that's the guy. It's just an absolute beast of a specimen, like technical excellence at his very finest. He's a winger turned left back. And it kind of like the way he goes forward is just so deadly. It reminds me of when Gareth Bale was going forward at left back for Tottenham. Like there's honestly no stopping him. The pace, the man was destroying Maicon in Champions League stages. Like, it's just when you've got someone that quick and that's skillful on the left hand side like that, it's very difficult to deal with them because you've got the overlap, but he's also coming inside and shooting as well when he wants. And it's just so I'm not seeing anybody with a more complete cohesive team than Bayern. The only thing that can shake it up for Bayern is these links I spoke about earlier in the stream is Alaba and Thiago. They're both running out of contract next year. We've already seen the likes of Timo Werner leave as well from that league, and not say that he's not playing the next round of the Champions League because he wants to be with Chelsea in July and start pre-season. If they lose Thiago and Alaba, then that's two huge players out of their starting lineup. The controller, who keeps the ball for them, and Alaba, who really is like, he's been a revelation at centre.
I swear Cavani and Meunier, they're not playing for PSG in it. I think they said they're not extending. I could be wrong. Yeah. They're not extending their team to cover that. So immediately you've lost Cavani, you've lost your right. So
the variables are different now because players don't have to. We
could get a surprise winner then. We could get a Manchester City. I hope not, blood, but we could get a surprise winner then because if Bayern lose a couple, man, PSG lose a couple, man, depending on what the contracts are saying. Even my man's talking about Juve and that they've got a few men like Ramsey that's looking to bust out. What's the French the midfielder?
Rabiot.
Yeah, Rabiot. There's a few men that want to get out of it.
Juventus. They're doing very well in Serie A, but they have the best players in the league. But they're very they're still very much in transition into this. I know very well because of Sarri's philosophy and how long at Chelsea it took for them to actually understand what was going on, because it's such a difficult philosophy to learn. When you get it right, as we saw at Napoli, it's very, very good for it's very entertaining to watch. Play some beautiful football. I remember Napoli against Man City in his last season before he left for Chelsea. They were playing brilliant stuff. They didn't win, but they played amazing against Man City. If you can get his philosophy right, then you're laughing. But my God, it takes a long time to learn. And I just see too many too many round pegs in square holes at Juventus in terms of that philosophy that they just don't fit the team. There's just too many players there. I think you've still got I think Matuidi's there. You know, Ramsey.
We've got like 20 million midfielders, man.
Yeah, man. Their midfield is messy. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
When you've got CR7, I can't. For me, I have to. Maybe not as a favorite, but you've got to be in a shot. If you've got Messi, Ronaldo, you've got nothing to say. And it's like, for me with Juventus, it's a good point you said on Sarri. And I'm starting to think if they don't win, it'll be down to Sarri and his tactical nuance and if he can change what he's doing. But they've got the depth, man. They've got the depth. I mean, PSG, they've got Neymar and Mbappe. Can't rule them out. But like we all can agree, we don't know their level because they just simply haven't been kicking ball. Like you can have as many friendlies as you want. You're not in the groove of things. Munich, Munich, like Juventus, Munich have kind of been chasing that for a while. And it's, Madrid's kind of fucked it up. So you're thinking there's maybe not a better time. Like Rants was saying, Lewandowski's scoring goals for fun. I used to play as a right back. I wouldn't want to play against any of their fullback. I'm winging them wide options. You wouldn't want to do it. Like, you really wouldn't want to do it. Their midfield is decent. But it's like, when it gets to the techie side of the game, you know what it is with Bayern Munich? When I look at them in these big games, when they play a team and go behind, like they've demolished Chelsea in the first leg, forgive me if I'm wrong, but can they come from, they've shown that they can come from behind and change games. I think for me watching Munich, when I compare everything, that's something they've kind of struggled with. And I don't know. I think history might be written for Messi or Ronaldo, man. I can see the headlines, Ronaldo's gone Juventus. He's won the Champions League. He'll probably leave Juventus after that. I don't know, man. It sounds cliche, but there's about 5-6 different winners, really and truly, man.
This is it.
Yeah,
just so many different variables. Yeah, go on, man. Go on, Matisse.
Yeah, there's new rules just to finish up. Is that you can only play one knockout game, so that changes everything. That really does. There's no two legs, so it's just straight knockout, which means you don't have to prepare your away goals and whatnot. It's just literally fire for fire.
You know what it is, yeah? Over two legs is kind of like, I don't know, the Pep thing, one-off game. I don't know. I think that you could get him though. Them as over two legs, it's very hard to beat Pep, blood. You know what I'm saying? When he goes into games knowing what he has to do and that. But in a one-off game, I think you can get a City. It's hard to beat City over two legs. Like United saw that even when we had them in the League Cup. Over two legs is hard to beat City, but in a one-off game, do you know what I mean? I would never put my hat on them because they're very bipolar, that team, bro.
But they're very bipolar. You see City last year, though. Spurs took them out, innit?
Yeah. Over two legs.
They kind of messed it up over them two legs. Like I remember Aguero missed a pen and there was other variables and whatnot. But it's like, I think in Europe, Pep shoots himself in the foot. Like he does. I look at what he's done at City and Munich. It kind of makes it harder than it has to be. And it's like, you can't. It's like what I was saying with Munich, the Munich example about when they go down. I've seen that with Pep. It's like they're not really reacting. He doesn't really know what to do or how to twang his way out of it. And I think Champions League separates, the boys from the men. There's no hiding place. This is the elite of the elite, fine margins and things. So it's
what it is with Pep. Pep's so stubborn in his philosophy. He's like, I've taught you, man, to play a certain way, so just keep doing it and it will all work out. Sometimes it ain't just gonna all work out on its own. Sometimes you need to just do something, fam.
That's it. Yeah. It boils down to you.
Like Pep will just be like, just keep circulating the ball, keep circulating it, and it will happen. Sometimes it won't just happen, bro. Do you see what I mean? And that's what happens, and that's what we had when we had LBG, like that. When United fans would get onto him, because it's like there's 10 minutes to go, and we're still circulating the ball, and man just want us to be more direct because we need to win. But them man are just in this trust in the process thing, trust in like the man have to trust in the philosophy. But sometimes,
I get that whole trust in the process over a season, and listen, you got a league campaign. When it's knockout time, it's knockout time, and you see when they came up against Liverpool a couple of years ago as well, when they got absolutely clapped. It's like you could have stopped that from happening, but it's just like they make it easy for you. If you're on a high and it's time to change the game. And maybe you have to go to a 3 at the back and put 5 there to accommodate for Salah and Mane coming inside and sticking it on your defenders. Do something. Do you know what I mean? If you have to go counter, go counter. He just doesn't change it up. If the tide is going one way, it will just continue to go. And sometimes it will be in devastating fashion. Like I said, with Bayern getting absolutely hammered by Madrid as well a few years ago when Ronaldo just had an absolute stormer. If in the Champions League, if things are not going their way, it just tends to just boil over into an absolute massacre. So
yeah.
It's just a philosophy thing, you know. These some managers, they just don't want to change things, and it's the same with Sarri, and that's why I don't see Juventus going very far. Is because even with Ronaldo, it's like Sarri's philosophy is so penned in. He won't change things at all. Like it's not happening. He's like nearly 70. He's very like on his way, and it's his way or there's no way. We saw that last season with Chelsea. He did not change things up at all. And I do respect it because, listen, if people have worked on their philosophy their whole life, they've got a reason to stand by it. But when it comes to knockout football, that doesn't run because at some point his philosophy will be tested and he won't change it. And then they will hold corn 100%. So
absolutely. So finally, who are we going with then? Knowing all the different variables, you know what? Now I've thought about it. Yeah? If Thiago isn't going to be there, if he's definitely not going to be there, and Alaba's definitely not going to be there, then I have to go with Real Madrid. I have to go with Real Madrid because I just feel like they're settled. They've got their team in it. They got Zidane. Casemiro's playing out of his skin, brother. He's always someone I've rated, yeah, but he's starting to show, man, that he's not done. You know them ones, because everything is cruise, blood. And Casemiro's like, no. Like I'm back in this thing now. You get me? So Casemiro's looking serious, bruv, right now. And I just look at Real Madrid. They've got the depth. They've got the know-how. Do you know what I'm saying? And as you said about Ramos and them man have just been there and done it, bro. Man will just pop up and score. But I think he's got like 50 career goals or something, bro. He's a centre back.
Ramos is moving mad. This guy, he'll pick up the ball, lay it off, and then he'll continue to counter and keep running, and then go and put it in the back of the net. This guy's taking free kicks, penalties. I don't know what's gone on with this guy, but he's just suddenly become this goal scoring centre back where he's not even just scoring from corners like he used to. He's taking penalties and free kicks. He takes them for Spain as well. But he's reliable. His technique is ridiculously good. So I don't know.
It's the confidence, bro. When you've been there and done it for so long, you don't doubt yourself, blood. You don't doubt yourself when you're Sergio Ramos, and that shows the respect that they have for him in that dressing room, that they're allowing the centre half to take it with all of the quality they've got it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that Real Madrid, if Bayern Munich are not going to be the team to do it, then I'll go Real Madrid, and I have to stick to United, bro. Because until we're out of competition, I have to feel like we're going to win it, blood.
Yeah.
For me, it's probably, Lionel Messi and Ronaldo. I got to go with either Juventus or Barca purely because it's them. Like, a bit of me is moving towards it. Outsiders for me, I'm picking bad teams, but City, because I think just maybe City being blown out of the water in the league will give them that healthy sort of edge to go and do that. It also might give them that freedom in that they're out of the title race. Like, obviously there's the project restart, but could you imagine if it was a thing where it was neck and neck, like Liverpool had to win today and City had to do it, that might sort of move it away. But I think there's enough reason for them to just I know they got the FA Cup, but just focus on that. It's a chance for Pep. If he wins Champions League with City, people can shut up about Pep, about checkbook manager, about he can't do it with Messi and not at Barca and things like that. So I'd say Man City might be my outsiders, but I can't go and I shout out Munich and Madrid. But for me, it's got to be between Barca and Juventus, man. They got the two best players ever to have done this, really.
Matisse, what you say?
I'm gonna go with Bayern, even though I brought up the Alaba and Thiago thing, and that is gonna, if they do leave, that's gonna change a lot of things. But right now, I'm just gonna just say hypothetically that they stay. Just deal with their squad now and say that they're probably the favourites with what they've got going on. Just simply because of their team is very balanced. Other teams I can see weaknesses here and there. I don't see any weaknesses in this current Bayern team. Their defense is sorted. Up front, they're lethal. Like you said, Muller's had an outstanding season. To keep out Coutinho, Coutinho's, I wouldn't say he's like one of the top players. I wouldn't say he's like top tier. I think he's in the tier below, but he's still a player, and he's still a player that could easily dislodge a Muller who's aging, like 32. For Muller to keep himself in that team, and Muller's so underrated. He's not just this workhorse. Like his finishing is fantastic that everybody knows. The way he creates chances, his delivery into the box for Lewandowski and everything, his decision making is just tier one. Gnabry is one of the top young wingers in the world right now. So yeah, I just think Bayern's team is very balanced, and they've got that thing in them where they haven't done it in a while. So I feel like that there will push them as well. When I look at Champions League winners as well, like Liverpool, when they lost the final, they came back the next year stronger. Bayern have not won it in a while, so I just feel like this is their time to do it. Especially if the likes of Müller, Lewandowski, they're getting older. They've got Thiago and Alaba. If this is their last chance at Bayern as well. There's a lot of that similar to Chelsea when we won it, is where a lot of players were about to leave. Drogba's last season, Terry's getting old. Like if you're gonna do it, you want to do it. Right. Yeah, do it now. So that's kind of the feeling I'm getting with Bayern.
Wavy, guys. All right, big up everyone that tuned in. Make sure you slap that like button. And yeah, but man's gonna be back tomorrow around the same time. But obviously, it's the preview to the North London derby and that. Obviously, I told you, man, I was gonna dig in the phone book and get a special guest. The man got that in it. So man just got the I just got the text message. So yeah, he's gonna pass through still. Now, I mean, I'm gonna shout my brother, get him on here and that. Do you know what I'm saying? Build up this thing, boy, because it's a big game, fam. Like, regardless of where these men are in the table, fam, there's a lot of banter to be had on social media, fam, like after this game. You know, like that is it's a massive game, blood. At the end of the day, London's the biggest city in the UK, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And them two teams there, fam, you get me? The fan base is big, blood. I mean, like it or not, fam. So it's gonna go off tomorrow, innit, bro? Like, I don't care who wins. A part of me would love to see Tottenham lose just to compound the misery of my brother here, and also the I told you so Jose thing. Because I told man when Jose came in, and then man was calling him Trophy Mourinho and talking about he wins stuff everywhere he goes. I said to my brother, I said, he's finished, bro. He's finished. Yeah. And man didn't want to hear me, blood. Remember Remember the bro on Sky Sports, the black brother that was on Sky Sports doing up the mad thing?
Yeah.
Trust me, you know what I mean? So, see them capitulating my very, like, bro, right before our eyes would just be amazing, fam. You know them, it'd be amazing, blood, just because of how it's all. Man got our leftovers.
Yeah,
and then
I just think it's hilarious that Tottenham have not been able to win a trophy for so long. They bring a manager in who's known for winning trophies, and they get him when he's declining. I'm gonna win trophies. It's like, you man just can't catch a break, man. Honest to God. As soon as you have that inkling of hope that you're gonna win, you know, you got Harry, Class A, Kane and whatnot.
It gets mad. Like, it gets mad.
Doesn't work out. And Kane's probably gonna end up leaving soon because, you know, he's already said quotes that he's looking to progress in his career. He's not too hung up on just staying at this one club and not winning any trophies. So I see him heading up. Probably next summer when the financial climate rises again. You man are screwed, fam. Honest to God, I'm not gonna lie to you.
But this is it. So do you know what I mean? We got everyone that's watching. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you go over and follow the man them as well on the socials. Blood. The socials at the bottom. You already know how it is. We'll be back anyway after both of these man's teams have played in it to talk about how they got on. You get me? United don't play till the evening. So do you know what I mean? Hopefully Chelsea drop points for United, brother, and hopefully Arsenal deal with Tottenham just for my own pleasure. No, like that. So this is what we're doing, bro. So guys, we're gonna catch you up probably on Monday.
Yeah. If we lose, you're gonna have two very sad, pissed off guests. You know, I'm telling you.
Monday, we're back on Monday, guys. You know what I mean? So hopefully, do you know what I mean? It's calm for me either way.